Here we go. Hi, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is Ursie, and it's late March 2022. So I was feeling a little bit unfettered again this morning, and I wanted to tune in. And so first of all, we have 2 corgi puppies. So I spent time with my dogs, fed them, fed the birds, fed the cat, and tried to come back and center myself. So in addition to that, I was just trying to understand what moment in time that we're in 2022, how to understand the past that got us to this present and what might be ahead for us in the future. So to help me, I like to turn to cards because the oracle cards are like a visual storytelling way for me to open up to spirit. If you know me personally, I have a hard time just sitting still. So I usually have this, love for painting, but not doing one painting, doing 10 paintings at once or more. Or if I'm cleaning the house, I'm working on the kitchen, the bathroom, and the front room at the same time. So there's something about my nature that's in constant motion from the time I wake up to typically the time I go to sleep. So as a visual learner and someone who loves art, card decks are a way for me to engage with either my higher self, with spirit, or with God. I don't have a clear label for each one of those other than show me something that I don't know, and then I'll bring that into my heart space and I'll let myself feel into it. Does it feel true for me in this moment or not? So I'm sharing with you how I play with cards and visuals. So without further ado, I thought, given my level of okay, what's really going on? And we're living in a time of misinformation, and many people you think are thinking one way, we all agree to this, and then you find out, no, that's not the case at all, that there's another subset or other group who believes the exact opposite. And actually, there's a third set that says, don't ever watch the news, just really stay removed. But on a personal human level, I just want to tell you, being a mother and knowing that there is war on our planet in 2022 with people killing each other. And I'm not saying whose side is good or bad, but that we have combat like Hunger Games is beyond me. When are we going to stop fighting like this? So that's my human side. And I know spiritually I could be thinking about it a different way, but my mother's heart was just okay, children, grandbabies, nurseries, whatever the reality is, from my mother's heart to the collective, I'm saying choose peace. And I have to learn to choose peace within myself first. But what I sense is happening in the world really is, I can use this as rocket fuel for good, rocket fuel for clarity within myself. So let me show you the card deck that I reached for this morning, because I just thought, okay, how do I rebalance myself? And wouldn't you know, this beautiful card deck, which I've spoken about before, called Sacred Geometries Activations Oracle, is by a lovely woman based in Southern California named Lon, L-O-N. And her card deck, it speaks to me on many layers. So, like the animal cards, that is fun and whimsical. But when I want a deeper message from a soul level, I turn to this one. So let's see what this card deck wants to answer me with 3 questions. With what's happening in the world today, please show me the past, the present, and future that brought us here in this now moment. So, as you know, I knock out the old energy. I breathe in this intention. Show me what's going on. What's going on? What's the past that brought us to this moment? And what does the future look like? So I just keep shuffling and shuffling until my intuition says, okay, let's end here. All right. So I'm going to cut the deck because I have 3 questions into thirds. There we go. This out of the way. All right. Past, present, and future. Help me understand, or better understand, what the heck is going on, because it's been over a month from news around the world about war, and I stand for peace. And it's like Mother Teresa said, you know, she wouldn't march in rallies against anything. So instead of being against war, I am for peace. Thank you, Mother Teresa, and your message. All right, so this card on top will help us understand, or help me to understand, the past, like what brought us here. And I'm turning this card right side up, Emergence, number 25. And then I'm going to show you the present. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to pause there. It's the number 33 with the word miracle. This is, deep breath. And I see that both cards have a common color palette, lots of incredible oranges, red, orange, and yellows. And this card will help me understand from this point where our future potential is. Wow. Solar plexus chakra, number 3. Alrighty, so I'm going to put these 2 aside for a moment. And let's see if we can understand what is happening in the world as it relates to number 25 card, Emergence. So this is, again, the question of how did we get here? What's the past that brought us to this moment from a collective viewpoint? And here it is. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment. Whew. And to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So the frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So my little intuition, or my spidey sense, would say this is all about the Piscean era. This is about Jesus Christ's message, Jesus of Nazareth, his message around how do we get to heaven? You know, we don't get to heaven as the rich man. We don't get to heaven with our minds. We enter the kingdom of heaven as a child, and that inner child in each of us being called forth on this ascension playground is what I sense is coming through the message of this card for the collective. So there's something about our past and remembering why we're here, you know, to embrace the childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment. So in number 25, a 2 plus a 5, 2 being duality and 5 is all about transformation, but you add them together and it's 7. And 7 is that spiritual number that bridges us into heaven. I'm going to stop share for a moment and pause while I get that phone. Excuse me. Hi, I'm back. So I have to just embrace this idea of the pause, even if it's one of those calls that you don't know who it is. They're trying to sell you something. So let me go back to our lovely card, because I think that this is really speaking to me deeply from this position of the star in the center and our past. So this emergence, let's just say, of the human collective, of humanity in general, we're looking at, remember to be childlike in our attitude. Thank you, card. I'm going to set you aside. And the second card, about our current present time, calls in the number 33. miracle. I'm going to pause with the number 33 because for many of you who are new to numerology or the study of how numbers might speak to us in a common language that is universal, the 33, two threes together, represent the cosmic Christ energy. So I know when I was a born again Christian and a Catholic, we didn't use words like cosmic Christ. Instead, in this era, cosmic Christ references this idea of the most loving heart, the compassionate Jesus, the highest level of the complete ascended Jesus. This is how I interpret 33 as the cosmic Christ. And the word miracle in today. So what that's helping me, just before I read below, it's reminding me, don't forget to engage with your higher self, with the cosmic Christ energy, and expect miracles. Expect peace. Expect abundance of food and shelter and warmth for everyone, for all beings, no matter which side you think is right and wrong, to get out of that dynamic of cowboys and Indians. That's my little personal interpretation, but here's what the card means. The frequency of miracles supports our belief in ourselves as part of Source, and therefore our belief that anything is possible. Okay, now that is really going to go deep. Okay, usually on the playground, it's light and bright, and we've got a beautiful color and an orb with lots of beautiful sparkles around it. But this message, belief in ourselves as a part of Source. Okay, I'm going to say two things. One, from a Christian lens, would be we're taught about Pentecost, how before Christ in his last hours and days broke bread and invited the Holy Spirit to come and descend upon his disciples. That is this idea of Christ indwelling, okay? And it didn't just happen to the people in the room. It set in motion this amazing miracle of us, each of us, deciding whether or not we want to open up that heart flame within ourselves or not. It's a choice point without judgment, okay? So in the now present moment, miracle for me is showing up to remind me for the collective that we're all part of Source, that when we drop these physical bodies and pass away, when our body dies, our spirit does not, and we go back to Source. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, our belief that anything is possible. So thank you for reminding me that in today, in this moment of March 2022, peace is possible. Okay, that was it. Now here comes the future. Here comes the future. It was card number 3. So you see the 3 connects to the previous card 33. That's interesting. All right. And this is a beautiful yellow. Now the solar plexus, we start talking about chakras or chakra. Chakras are typically known as energy portals. There's key points on the body. And if you've done yoga, you know that there's a root chakra, red, then you move up to the orange second chakra of the sacral area. And then the solar plexus is right below the rib cage. For me, this is the point of the great I am. This is where you say, this is who I am, and this is who I'm not. But really having that clarity of, yes, from my root to my creativity to who I am, the third chakra sits at the solar plexus. Now let's see for the future, what is it saying? The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. Wow. I gotta say, I know this image of the flower of life is rather faint. I'm going to look around for a minute to see if I have a better image for you. Let me pause and see if I can get you a real flower of life image. Be right there. Okay, I'm back again. Sorry for the interruptions today, but here we go. The flower of life. Oh my goodness. I have been tracking this image for the last 6 years. Here it is, but it's in this card. Okay, so it's in this form here. I just want you to look at this. We start with the center point of the flower. And these petals are all connected to the whole. I got to tell you a little short story. In Abydos, Egypt, and around the world, but especially in Abydos, in a temple called the Osirian, this image was engraved in stone. And they don't really know how it could have been engraved so precisely given its date thousands of years ago. But the flower of life, for me as an artist, when I draw it with a compass, it reminds me of how I am connected to the whole. Every petal is connected to the whole. And then I say inside myself, and now in my solar plexus, I'm going to say, all of me is connected to the whole. So when we go back to the card chosen of number 3, this was the divine child, number 3. So you have the mother, the father, and the two of them make the number 3, the divine child. And each of these petals is a small vesica. And the vesica, here you go, each portal, each of these petals is a vesica. I accidentally said the word portal, and that's for another conversation, but it wasn't a misspeak, it was to be discussed later. So flower of life, the future for the collective. Now, if you've studied human design, or if you're looking at the evolutionary journey of our human species, you will know that our chakras will eventually be morphing and moving. We're not going to always have the, as some people call it, the straight up and down chakras of 7. But the solar plexus is going to play a pivotal part as we move into the Aquarian age. That's a lot of woo-woo for today. Sorry I've gone a little bit long, but I wanted to share with you and help myself remind myself when you bring all 3 of these messages together. Emergence, miracle, solar plexus. Okay, so what is it saying? Let's put a sentence together. When the past emerges, a miracle today will occur to help guide us into the future with our solar plexus chakra saying, I am, I am. So I'm telling myself, Ursula, do not get so caught up in all the stuff happening in the world. Instead, choose to go within, tune into my solar plexus chakra, connect like the flower of life to the whole collective, and radiate peace. Radiate peace. That's what I can do. That's what I can control. I cannot control what's outside myself, but I can from within. So, hope you're going to have a great day. Feel free to comment in the box. I appreciate the 51 subscribers we have on the playground. If you yourself would like to come join me and talk on the playground, give me a quick message and let's talk. All right. Have a great day, and I appreciate you staying to listen. Bye for now.